Since then, the university has conducted an action report with multiple security recommendations, one of those being turnable locks like this on the inside of every classroom. While we know that Matthew enjoys his job clearing the sidewalks and making big snowballs, that begs the question, how much do the students appreciate it? A win for the Trojans in this game would take them from playing in their high school gymnasium to the hardwood floors of the Breslin Center. After a tough loss last night to Ohio State, the Michigan State Spartans bounced back and got a 5-2 win over Ohio State on senior night, as before they head into an important weekend against Wisconsin. After the game, Coach Nightingale talked about laying the foundation and how proud he is of this team. The Fill the Bus event will take place from now until September 15th inside the Student Services Building, where the Center of Community Engaged Learning will have a physical drop-off point for things like notebooks and backpacks. Absolutely, Jack, and you mentioned it was a very intense game from the buzzer. I mean, letting off in the first half, Michigan State, very aggressive on the offense, jumped out to a 13-5 lead very early on, and when they needed to, they switched that aggressiveness to the defense.
I mean, there was pretty much no security.
It was 6:20 in the evening on February 13th last year. Tim Marshall and his classmates were wrapping up their sports show in the Communication, Arts, and Sciences building. Alerts lit up their phones. There was an active shooter on the Michigan State campus.
We finished up our show, Spartan Sports Report, and we all got like these notifications, and we were all worried. Where are we going to go?
The broadcast room is like a fishbowl, floor-to-ceiling glass walls, and the students quickly decided to move into a classroom.
Everyone got in.
They realized they still weren't safe.
There were no locks on the doors, so we had to close the doors. And we put this piano right here, and then we had bungee cords to kind of lock everything up.
Today, Tim thinks back to that night.
It wasn't the best, but it was all we had.
It's been over a year since students like Tim were forced to shelter in place in classrooms just like this. Since then, the university has conducted an action report with multiple security recommendations, one of those being turnable locks like this on the inside of every classroom.
The report is complete, and we are working on implementing those recommendations that were within the report.
Dana White, spokesperson for MSU's Department of Police and Public Safety, says these recommendations include
a 24-hour security operations center on campus, metal detectors.
Please be aware all patrons will walk through metal detectors upon entrance into the Breslin Center.
And
hiring additional police officers and just things like that.
The police department, of course, wants students to feel safe.
They're home. This is their home away from home.
Reporting for Focal Point News.
I'm happy with the response they took, locking all these doors, having locks on all these doors and locking all the buildings.
DeShawn Johnson. Walking in the snow and ice can really bring you down.
I'm not gonna lie, it halts your mood.
And for students like Marcelo Chola, it's even worse when you're walking to class.
Snow in your face, wind everywhere, you're cold, you're late to class, you get really upset, it just throws you off.
But thanks to people like Matthew Bailey,
you want to hop in?
Walking to class becomes less upsetting. Matthew works for the infrastructure and planning facilities of MSU, and when the snow arrives, his crew stays prepared.
We got teams that are on call 24/7 all winter long.
See, Matthew has always been a fan of the snow.
Yeah, I love the snow. I used to snowmobile a lot.
And while he doesn't get to drive a snowmobile, he does get to drive a toolcat. And although it isn't that fast,
they don't go too fast, honestly.
Matthew enjoys the challenge.
I really liked the challenge.
While we know that Matthew enjoys his job clearing the sidewalks and making big snowballs, that begs the question, how much do the students appreciate it?
I thank him because I don't want to be slipping.
Josh Myers enjoys jogging in the snow for the scenery, and for him, it is huge to have clear sidewalks.
Having clear sidewalks without ice with salt on them, I mean, it's really pretty huge as a student.
The same goes for Caitlin Martin, who has to walk to all of her classes.
Definitely, I definitely appreciate the pathway actually being shoveled.
And although Matthew doesn't usually hear the praise in person, usually because of the loud toolcat, he does take pride in keeping students safe on their walks to class.
A lot of pride here to say that, that kids are able to get to class.
On Michigan State's snowy campus, I'm DeShawn Johnson, Focal Point News. The MSU Science Festival has come to Potter Park Zoo for Night at a Living Museum, where children and parents will get the opportunity to interact in fun science activities and check out zoo animals after hours.
Well, one of our main goals at the Science Festival is to increase access and science literacy, so exposure to all these different types of science and the science all around you. At the zoo, it's really conservation focused, so you get to see the animals, see what's happening, learn about what's threatening them and why they're in the zoo.
Usually when viewers come to the zoo, they only get the opportunity to do animal viewing. But today, in participation with the MSU Science Festival, viewers will get to come check out the animals, make seed balls, and also do some skull guessing.
So our stand is all about skulls. So we have 6 different skulls here, and we are asking participants and guests to test their knowledge and guess which skull belongs to who.
This mix and match game involves skulls, some that are fake and some real.
Here we have a mandrill skull, which is this guy over here. This is actually real.
Families attending express their enjoyment of the conservation-focused activities and the viewing of animals after hours.
I think it's good community engagement. It's good for people to especially kids, to get to experience animals.
The MSU Science Festival will have multiple activities both on campus and off campus until April 29th.
Students from MSU's Black Student Alliance and NAACP staged a walkout to protest MSU's handling of racial discrimination incidents on campus.
As a school, you're meant to support all of your students.
Missy Chola is the Community Service Chair for MSU's NAACP chapter. She says with the increase of racial discrimination happening on campus, students are calling for action.
The walkout was really a way for us to show that we deserve to be here and that if we are not going to be treated like that, we will not be in our classes.
That kind of led us to specifically doing our protest and our march.
BSA is a voice for the Black community on MSU's campus. Members reported seeing the N-word written here outside of the Student Services building and reached out to administration in hopes of a resolution. MSU says they are limited in what they can do because of First Amendment protections.
What we want is for them to find a way to work around that while still respecting the First Amendment right.
BSA historian Devin Woodruff is hoping that by partnering with other Black organizations, it will get MSU to be more responsive to their concerns.
We collaborated with the NAACP because I think we were able to see that there are a lot of issues right now with the university on accountability within DEI.
University spokesperson Emily Garant says that due to current investigations, the university is limited on what they can speak on, but claims to have reached out to BSA.
I think what we've also been seeing this fall is the university trying to communicate directly with BSA as an advocacy group to say we are aware of some of these situations that have been brought forward.
Dr. Lee June is an executive committee member for the Lansing NAACP. He says that a lot of racism occurs on MSU's campus, but is swept under the rug.
There's a lot of covert racism, and after a while, what you end up doing is seeing the effects.
The NAACP and BSA say they do not plan to stop fighting and are encouraging everyone to get involved.
Showing up to our town halls, showing up to our walkouts, you do not have to be Black to participate in a walkout. You can be an ally.
Chola says that if things do not change soon, the relationship between MSU and their minority students will continue to suffer.
You're going to see less and less of these incoming classes. You're going to see less students of color. You're going to see more students of color transferring, because when you feel like you're not even welcomed in some place that's supposed to be your home, you're going to move.
In East Lansing, Zoe Ruffin, Focal Point News.